To investigate some of the biggest mysteries in science, you have to venture to some pretty far-out places, the bottom of the oceans, inside the human brain, the tops of mountains, and even the end of time. We set out to ask big questions that inspire scientists to do their work, questions that fill them with wonder or a sense of purpose, or remind them that the universe is still an enormous place with untapped potential. In exploring these stories, we've learned some of the surprising reasons why major scientific mysteries can go unsolved for years or even decades. Some are due to the limits of technology, others are because of human failings. Regardless, working on Unexplainable has reminded us there's hope in a question. Why ask one if you don't believe an answer is possible? What is most of the universe made out of? It's a simple question that's also bafflingly unanswered. What makes up the universe? It turns out all the stars and all the galaxies in all the universe barely even begin to account for all the stuff out there. Most of the matter in the universe is actually unseeable, untouchable, and, to this day, undiscovered. It's called dark matter, and despite searching for it for decades, scientists still have no idea what it is. What lives in the ocean's twilight zone? As you dive deeper into the ocean, less and less sunlight shines through, and about 200 meters beneath the surface, you reach an area called the twilight zone. Sunlight fades almost completely out of view, and our knowledge about these dark depths fades too. It's almost easier to define it by what we don't know than what we do know. Anne Lavery, an acoustician at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, told Vox's Byrd Pinkerton. Yet this region of the ocean is extremely important. It's possible, but not certain, that there are more fish living in the twilight zone than the rest of the ocean combined, and creatures of the dark ocean play a large role in regulating the climate. What killed Venus? Hell's Cape is the most appropriate word to describe the surface of Venus, the second planet from the Sun. At 900 degrees Fahrenheit, it's the hottest planet in the solar system, thanks in part to an atmosphere of almost entirely carbon dioxide. Clouds of highly corrosive sulfuric acid are draped over a volcanic landscape of razor-sharp lava flows. Most crushingly, the pressure on the surface of Venus is about 92 times the pressure you'd feel at sea level on Earth. Yet some scientists suspect Venus was once much like Earth, with a liquid water ocean like the ones that support life on our planet. This prompts an existential question for life on Earth. It really is a question about why are we here, says Robin George Andrews, volcanologist and author of Supervolcanoes, what they reveal about Earth and the worlds beyond. Venus and Earth are planetary siblings, Andrews says. They were made at the same time and made of the same stuff, yet Venus is apocalyptic and awful in every possible way. Earth is a paradise. So why do we have a paradise next to a paradise lost? There are two leading hypotheses. One is that the sun cooked Venus to death. The other is that volcanoes did. What will animals look like in the future? It's impossible to completely predict how evolution will play out in the future, but that doesn't mean we can't try. Reporter Mandy Nguyen asked biologists and other experts to weigh in, what could animals look like a million years from now? The experts took the question seriously. I do think it's a really useful and important exercise, Liz Alter, professor of evolutionary biology at California State University Monterey Bay, told Nguyen. In thinking about the forces that will shape the future of life on Earth, we need to think about how humans are changing environments right now. What causes Alzheimer's? There is no cure for Alzheimer's, a neurodegenerative disease that causes dementia, and no highly effective treatments, despite decades of research. Why? For one thing, scientists don't have a complete understanding of what causes the disease. For years, the prevailing theory has been that Alzheimer's is caused by pileups of proteins called amyloids, which effectively create plaques in the brain. But drugs that help clear amyloids from the brain don't seem to work very well in combating the disease. Some scientists think Alzheimer's researchers have been too focused on this one theory, at the expense of studying other potential causes, like viral infections. How is a brainless yellow goo known as slime mold so smart? Slime mold is an extremely simple organism that is also extraordinarily complex. Technically, they are single-celled organisms. but many individual slime mold cells can fuse themselves together into a huge mass, capable of, well, thinking. Slime mold can solve mazes and seems to be able to make risk-benefit decisions. There's even evidence that slime mold can keep track of time. They do this all without a brain or even a single brain cell. Whatever mechanism allows slime mold to solve these problems, it's evolved in a manner different from humans. How exactly do they do this? And what can it teach us about the nature of intelligence? What's the oldest possible age a human can reach? Is the first human to live to 150 years old alive today? We don't know. On average, the human lifespan has risen over the decades in most of the world, but it's unclear if there's a ceiling. Could a human live into their second century? The technology and medicine that could make that possible may already be in development. But if it works, there will be unsettling questions for societies to answer. Are long-haul symptoms unique to COVID-19? Millions of people around the world have dealt with long-term symptoms of COVID-19 for weeks or months after their initial infection has cleared. Some scientists say these long-haul symptoms are not unique to COVID. Instead, they argue that many types of viral infections can leave people with long-term symptoms, which often can go under-recognized in medicine. The question is, what connects all of these long-haul symptoms? It has always been, and is the case that patients who get sick experience high levels of symptoms like those described by long COVID patients. Megan Hosey, assistant professor at the Johns Hopkins Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, told Vox's Julia Bellas. We have just done a terrible job of acknowledging and treating them. What the heck is ball lightning? For millennia, people have been telling stories about mysterious spheres of light that glow, crackle, and hover eerily during thunderstorms. They've been spotted in homes, in rural areas, in cities, on airplanes, and even passing through windows. They seem out of this world, but scientists believe they are very much of this world. These apparitions are called ball lightning, and they remain one of the most mysterious weather phenomena on Earth. Ball lightning usually only lasts for a few moments, and it's impossible to predict where and when it'll show up. You can't hunt ball lightning and reliably find it. Ball lightning finds you. It's rare, but many people have seen it. Scientists don't know exactly where it comes from, but that hasn't stopped them from trying to make it themselves, in their labs.